Hello everybody, Calamity here, and today we're going to do a banner review for 3.8. Now usually when a special program comes out for Genshin Impact, there's usually, new characters, whether they be new 5 stars or new 4 stars, and usually I kind of react to their, their kits being shown and talking about the character and stuff like that. But in 3.8, unfortunately there is absolutely no new characters. It's going to be all reruns, both 5 stars and 4 stars. So I kind of pulled up the special program, but there's no reason to react to anything into it, at least for me. I figured I'd just talk about the banners themselves and kind of share my 2 cents on whether or not I think a character is worth pulling. So for the first phase, we have Eula and Klee. So first up, let's talk about Eula. It is so nice to see her finally make her return back into our banners. This is probably her first rerun in, I want to say, like 2 years, or at least it's felt like 2 years since I've last seen her in a banner. For those that are new, Eula is a main DPS character and she does physical damage, not cryo. Despite her being cryo element, I have to honestly say that she was definitely one of the hardest characters for me to learn, and she definitely has a lot more depth to her compared to a lot of different characters in Genshin. What I mean is that, like, she does have some, I wouldn't say they're like crazy super, fighting game complicated combos, but they are sometimes pretty hard to execute, and I definitely had to practice it a little bit. But if you want to see me talk more in depth about Eula, check out my guide that I made a while back. I should have a little text thingy pop up on the top right where I go into all the details about her, and especially if you do plan on pulling her, I also show you how to build her as well. Eula is going to do an insane amount of damage, physical damage that is, and she is really strong and definitely can do the Spiral Abyss, and we're talking floor 12 here first half. If you don't believe me, and you can always just check out other content creators, there's tons of Spiral Abyss mains out there that do nothing but do like Spiral Abyss runs on floor 12, showcasing all sorts of different teams, and I'm sure you can find someone beating Spiral Abyss with Eula with just a 4-star weapon and at Constellation 0. It's definitely doable, but is it going to be harder than other characters, like say other teams that have it easier, like a Hyperbloom team or a Burgeon team? Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot harder and more effort, but hey, if Eula is the type of character that you like to play as and you enjoy, and once you get your hands on her on the character trial, and you're like, dang, this is like, this is my thing, this is my playstyle, then by all means, she's definitely going to be a fun pull for you. And honestly, moving on to Klee, we can say the same thing about both characters. Like, both of these characters are main DPSs, and they do damage sort of in their own unique way. Like, as we mentioned before, Eula's physical damage DPS. Klee is Pyro DPS, but when it comes to Pyro, you usually think, oh, am I gonna vaporize her damage? Am I gonna melt Klee's damage? And the answer is not really, because Klee provides so much Pyro application through her bombs that it's really hard to set up constant good elemental reactions with Klee. So a common way to build her is to set her up with a Lava Walker's artifact set, and basically you do a mono Pyro team. So that's just a full team of all Pyro characters except maybe like a Kazuha or something to help boost your damage there. And just like Eula, again, I'm sure you could find another content creator that is, I don't have either Eula or Klee on my account, so I can't really showcase them myself, but I'm sure you could find someone using her in the Spiral Abyss and again beating it with Constellation 0 and 4-star or maybe even a 5-star catalyst weapon from the standard banner or something like that. I just want to quickly mention that the weapon banner for these two characters is probably not going to be that great, because you have Eula's signature weapon, right, which is the Song of Broken Pines or something like that. That is a physical damage claymore. Now if you want that weapon because you want it either for your Eula, of course, or maybe let's say you want to give it to your Razor or Jinyan or whatever physical DPS that uses a claymore, like, it's gonna be their best in slot weapon for physical damage dealers. But because Klee doesn't actually have a signature weapon, I feel like they're just gonna put Lost Prayers of the Sacred Winds. So what I'm trying to say is that the weapon banner might not be a good value to pull on. Like, I just don't think pulling on the weapon banner is gonna be that great unless you really want, unless you end up pulling for Eula and you want her signature weapon. Only then is the weapon banner going to be of value to you. So with that being said, let's move on to the phase 2 of the banners. All right, we have Kokomi and we have Wanderer. So let's talk about Kokomi first. But first of all, I want to say that new players, these are the banners you want to pull on. I'm telling you straight up right now, these are definitely the better characters, and I'm about to tell you why. So let's start with Kokomi. Kokomi is a hydro healer. That might sound really basic, but not only is she a fantastic healer, but she's also a really good hydro applicator. Kokomi is used in so many teams now, it's insane compared to when she was first introduced. She is used in a lot of freeze teams, so if you have an Ayaka, if you have a Ganyu, she is definitely good at setting up your constant freezes with her hydro application, because you can't really use Jincho or Yelan in those teams, right? Because you don't really do normal attacks. If you're using Ganyu, you do charge attacks. If you do Ayaka, you do some, but not enough to proc their bursts with your normal attacks. So Kokomi can provide you an excellent way to apply Hydro while also keeping your team healthy at all times. And that's the other reason why she's also really good. So just team comps and combat aside, Kokomi is just going to make exploration easier for two reasons. And one being, if Kokomi is in your party, nobody's dying unless you do something really silly like jump off a really tall cliff or something like that. But you know what I mean? Like, she's gonna keep your characters, no matter who's in the party, alive and well. Like, they're always gonna be healed no matter what, because she heals with her skill and her burst. Every time she attacks, when her burst is active, she heals your entire team. Like, nobody's dying, which means you don't have to waste resources having to cook food and having to pause the game and heal your team or going to a statue of the seven. Like, she also has the ability to run on water when you use her burst, which is an ability I feel like some people forget. This can make exploration a lot easier, especially since we're about to enter a realm or a continent called Fontaine, and that's all about water. You know, who knows how annoying it is going to be to have to swim everywhere. And just being able to run on water could definitely save you a lot of time. So now let's talk about Wanderer. Wanderer is a main Anemo DPS. He's a very strong DPS character. However, I will say when building him, it's very, very recommended to have Faruzan. I'm pretty sure she's definitely going to be in the banner. And Wanderer's team comp also usually consists of a shielder, so someone like Toma or Zhongli are solid options here. You can also use Layla, who we're getting for free in the next update, so you could also use her if you don't have any shielders available. And then he's usually paired up with Bennett for the straight up attack boost, because he still gets it even though he's flying in the air. Speaking of flying in the air, that is also exactly why I recommend pulling Wanderer. Wanderer's elemental skill allows you to just straight up fly around. Yep, you're flying around, not for like, you know, forever, but for a limited time, you're flying around and it doesn't consume your own stamina. Like, he has his own stamina bar when he uses his elemental skill. Just being able to fly around and glide around is going to make, again, life so much easier just when it comes to climbing tall stuff, having to grab those annoying oculi that are in the air. So if you need a solid DPS and someone that can make your exploration easier, much in the same way that I recommended Kazuha in the previous banner, you know, Wanderer is going to be that guy for you. And that's going to be about it for these banners. We have full reruns once again for the 5 stars. You know, I know a lot of people are just going to say, oh, just save because Fontaine is coming right around the corner, right? And that is absolutely true. You know, for most veterans out there that are watching this for some reason, or older players, you know, that you either have most of these characters or you just don't care about them at this point, yeah, you're probably just going to say for Fontaine. But just to go back to the phase 1 and just to reiterate the video, Eula and Klee are both solid, unique DPSs that definitely can carry you and do endgame content. However, they definitely get outclassed by, well, just meta teams in general. So the only reason I would recommend pulling for them is if you find them fun. If you don't find them fun, you don't like their playstyle, or you just don't want to build another 5-star character because you're happy with what you got already, then unfortunately both these characters are just a skip. However, when we get to the second phase banner, things change up a little bit. For these two characters, I highly recommend Kokomi and or Wanderer, but if you can only pick one character, because, you know, gems are limited resource, right? Definitely Kokomi, just because she can be used in more teams than Wanderer can. But yeah, once we get to the second phase, then things start getting a little mixed up because these characters are definitely worth pulling in my opinion, both of them. Again, even if you're not someone that's trying to do Spiral Abyss, exploration is going to be made easier thanks to these characters in one way or another. So Kokomi provides so much healing that you don't have to waste time cooking, and Wanderer just makes exploration easier by being able to glide. Not to mention he does a lot of damage as well. I'm not saying his damage is awful or anything, and he's only good for gliding around. His damage is great. Very strong character, also can do Spiral Abyss quite easily once you have proper teammates and team setup and all that stuff. Oh yeah, something I forgot to talk about real fast is their weapon banners. So Kokomi definitely does not need her signature weapon. She's one of the easiest characters to build in Genshin because she's a healer, and just like most healers, they scale with HP percentage, right? So she's the same. You're just gonna need those HP percentage artifacts, maybe some energy recharge, and she's more than happy with a 3-star weapon called the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. This is a very common weapon, and it gives a bunch of extra HP and a huge buff to your main DPS. Now for Wanderer's signature weapon, his weapon's actually pretty good, but it's definitely, you know, pretty good for just him, I should say. Is it needed? Do you have to have it? No, you can probably just give him a Widsith and call it there. Alright, with that being said, that is going to be a wrap for my 3.8 banner review. What do you guys think about the characters on the banners? Are you guys going to pull for any of them? Let me know in the comments down below. Me personally, I might just try to go for Kokomi because I still don't have her on my account, and again, she's really good. So I might try to do a pull or two depending on how much gems I have or if I'm feeling lucky that particular day. But unfortunately, as much as I would love to have Eula, Klee, and even Wanderer on my team, for me personally, there is Skip. I don't need Klee. I've got plenty of Pyro DPSs that I'm happy with. I got Yoimiya, I got Hu Tao, I got Yanfei, I got Diluc. I've got all these Pyro DPSs that, you know, I just don't need another one. And for Eula, I really wanted to play as her. She seems like a really fun character to play as, but it's just the lack of gems right now, and I'm not a whale, unfortunately. So I don't have money to spend doing all these extra pulls. And as for Wanderer, as much as I would like to also pull for him, I'm basically just like most of y'all that have been playing this game for a while now. Like, Fontaine is right there, and I know a lot of people are probably going to save up for whatever the Hydro Archon does, because, you know, for anyone that's played Genshin for a while now, you know that all the Archon characters have insanely broken kits. You know, like even Venti, even though he's not as popular as he used to be, but on release, Venti was one of the most broken characters in the game. Zhongli, still powerful shielder. Raiden Shogun, absolutely amazingly strong main DPS. And Hida, amazing Dendro application used in a bunch of different teams. So I don't know what the Hydro Archon does yet. I haven't looked at leaks or nothing like that, but I'm definitely going to be saving along with most of the free-to-play players this time around. But good luck to you if you decide to pull. And that's going to be a wrap for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I also want to briefly just say thank you so much for getting me to 600 subscribers. I appreciate it a bunch. Let's get to 1K. But no, I really appreciate everyone that's taking the time to watch my videos, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. I'll see you guys in the next video, and thanks again for watching.